Listen to me. This is what I mean that Aaron Donald is just folding people up with while they still in their clothes. Look at it. He used two grown men as bowling balls. This is supposed to be a stout offensive line. Matter of fact, look. This is what we have to deal with next week with the display that we just saw our offensive line. Now, I believe the Philadelphia Eagles are going to be okay for the most part in some of these one-on-one matchups. But when you got guys like this coming back, taking two guys out of the play at one time, you got a game plan for a guy like this, ladies and gentlemen. You got a game plan. And Lane Johnson coming back is going to be huge. Misdirection up front is going to be huge. You know what I mean? You got to cut block, chop block. You got to do whatever you can do to slow this type of locomotive down. I mean, let me know what you think in the comments. Yeah. Lil Brunson back at you with the back at you, and I am the best reporting on the Eagles. Listen, man, I want to talk about a couple things. First, I'm going to start off with, something that I didn't know until earlier. Earlier this morning. The Philadelphia Eagles had the best defense through week one. I think that's just a sign of what's to come from this defense, man. Like I said, man, we should have leaned on the defense a lot in week one. Obviously, made those boys prove they could drive a long field on our defense. Multiple times we should have done it. But I feel like the Philadelphia Eagles defense really did hold their own. This is one of the weirdest games I've ever seen. For your team to blow a 17-point lead and you still have the least yardage given up during the season. Usually when that happens, a team blowing a 17-point lead, that's usually telling me that, the other offense just came storming back. You know what I'm saying? Came storming back. And it wasn't a 17-point lead we blew. These guys went 20-something points unanswered, 24 points unanswered. So, you know what I mean? They came storming back. You know what I mean? So it was a lot of mistakes made. It was a lot of just at the same time, we gave them short field, basically. You know what I mean? We gave them what they got. And the defense basically was holding on, man. The defense did their thing in a lot of situations, and that's something positive that we need to be building on for next week's game, knowing that our defense has been stingy through 1 week. Yes, it was only 1 week. Yes, it was Dwayne Haskins. Nonetheless, it was still a stingy effort by our defense. Listen, Aaron Donald is good. And it's just great news to hear that we actually are getting or close to getting Lane Johnson and Miles Sanders back. I'm really excited about that news. Really excited about that news, because what that does is that gives the defense somebody they got a game plan for. We were deadly in the screen game with Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders actually has underrated power with running the ball. So you got to respect Miles Sanders if you the Rams the same way you respected Zeke week one, and Zeke still got off. You see what I'm saying? You still got to respect that. I did hear Doug Peterson come out today, I believe, and say that the right guard spot is Herbig's. It's his, and he knows what he has to do to keep the spot. I just don't like how Doug is talking as of late. I'm going to just keep it real. I don't like that type of rhetoric. I don't like the way he's using his words. It's his to keep. Like the lead was yours to keep, Doug, and you knew what you were supposed to do to keep the lead. But that's neither here nor there. At the same time, we still got some things we got to clean up, and we still got some things we got to address. Carson Wentz also spoke today. He spoke about both of his interceptions, that he threw, and both of them being to rookies. You got to get that timing down. And Carson is absolutely right. It's nothing like game time reps. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate that a lot of teams will be learning on the fly. And we're one of those teams. We got to learn on the fly. We didn't have preseason for a lot of our rookies. Rookies need preseason, period. They need preseason. I saw a lot of rookie mistakes week one all across the NFL, not just the Philadelphia Eagles. Preseason is huge for these rookies. And I feel like that, by us missing preseason and everybody else missing preseason, you're going to see some mistakes. You're going to see a lot of what you saw, probably until week 3 when dudes start getting their game legs under them. So you got to expect to see more stuff like that. Something was really interesting, though. So somebody brought this to my attention. I'm not sure if this is true or not, but Doug called, most of the first half. Doug called the plays for most of the first half, and then he basically turned it over to, a lot of those, consultants and things that we have walking around the building, like the Marty Mortonwegs and all of these guys who don't have official titles, but they're on the payroll to just be a brilliant offensive mind. Now, if that's the case, if Doug called the 17-point lead and somebody called the rest of the game, are we dealing with a situation where we got too many Indians and not enough Chiefs? Are we dealing with something like that? Because if Doug is calling a flawless game, there should be no way in hell that he should be turning that game over. You know what I'm saying? There should be no way in hell that anybody should be comfortable taking that game out of the hands of Doug, with Doug calling the game how he was calling it in the first half. To me, that's kind of alarming. We don't need that, man. We need one guy calling the plays so we can have continuity. You know what I'm saying? We need one guy calling the plays so we can have, an identity. You know what I'm saying? There was an identity there. If you think about it, the second half looked completely different than the first half. So maybe there is some truth to this that I'm getting, because there was an identity in the first half of that game. It was to work the middle of the field, because the middle of the field was there the entire time. Work your tight ends. Then somehow, some way, it switched to let's throw a bunch of deep balls. You know what I mean? It just switched. So, especially if you could spot a team's weakness, and then you got to keep riding with that, man. So, I don't know, man. I don't know what to take from that, but a lot of people are hitting me up and saying Doug pretty much called most of the first half, and then he turned it over for other play callers to call, man. Let me know what you think in the comments.